details of the paddocks there, quality of the paddocks. It's all been done there by Mark and his senior herders. And so these features have come on the thing as he goes till he arrives at what the planned grazing periods are to be for each of these divisions. In here, color-coded, are all the things he and the herders have thought about on each paddock and what they're trying to do. And so if we look here, we find this paddock 10 is not being used the whole time. That's because of political reasons. Okay, so it's a paddock still, but it's out. Then that left him 9, and then if you look at the other color coding, these lines all indicate that wherever those are, that's a warning to the herders that when they're in those paddocks, the cattle have to be kept out of the long grass. They've been kept out of the long grass till after the frost, and after the first frost, we start cutting thatch. So people in the community have no thatch for their roofs. The women come here, cut the thatch, share bundles with us, go. After that line, cattle can go into the long grass. Where you see this long pink line, as the cattle, you see they're planned to be in there, August, September. If he needs a reminder, he just comes down here and it says we're germinating teak. These big sand forests you came through are enormous in this part of Africa, in 4 countries. There is probably as big as a whole state in some of the smaller states, and those forests are dying. They are dry, deciduous forests that are not germinating because of the practices of the last 100 years or so. So now that is this area. It's not our land. It's owned by the Forestry Commission, but we're managing it to show that we can get those forests germinating again, establishing again. So that warns him when the herders are there. He now knows that the cattle crawl will be placed under big teak trees where there are no seedlings to try to get seedlings growing through the cattle. And so these are the sort of warnings. When he comes over here, he'll see that, all right, in 2 paddocks, when he comes in there, that green line will warn him right away. We're trying to establish another type of tree, which you're going to see, and that warns him the cattle have got to feed under those trees when their pods are falling, and then they've got to be crawled on a deep black soil, because we're trying to germinate those through the cattle. So you see how every little thing you can think of, literally, he sat and thought about it, paddock by paddock, color-coded it. When all that was done, he could come and plot in where the cattle go. So now he can see that he's got the cattle here, then they go there, then they go up to there, and that one he's got a light yellow line, flattened grass. Okay, that's telling him that when they come in there, they're going to flatten the grass. So that I know is up this steep valley here. There's a valley you won't go up, but the grass is over the vehicles. So the sable, the kudu, all these animals are staying out of it because of fear of predation. So he's going to put the cattle in there because the elephants we know won't come in that. And the big buffalo herds don't come in there. So he'll put the cattle in there, get it well flattened out so the game can start coming in. So you see the cattle are being used to heal the land, heal the rivers, manage the wildlife, instead of using technology all the time. So you get the idea. Now what we'll do is I'll take you around. Along the railway line we do not manage, because we still need it as a fire break. So along the railway line we use nothing, except we move the cattle along it sometimes, but other than that. And I'm going to take you really down in this part and show you fixed point photographs, what it was like, what it's like, show you the cattle crawl. And one of the things I'll do is take you to a junction of 2 rivers, because if you can only take one measurement of the land, and that will tell you everything you need to know, it would be the water running off that land at the lowest point. So we control the Digagombe River, so this river we pretty well control, the tributary up there. We control it right down to here. We control most of that tributary now, of that river. we have been controlling that, but we've lost that temporarily. And I'm going to take you down to that, then down to just below this junction, or at this junction, and show you this river coming off National Park. So you'll see the difference in what water is coming off our land, what water is coming off national parks. You'll see the big contrast. Yeah. Okay, so now we'll start going around.